Okay, last video, language today for Friday. I've pulled you a little closer to me, to the board. We're going to be working in our language books on page 161 today. This is a good review of working with verbs, nouns, adjectives, and adverbs today. So this is going to be, picking all of these pieces out of our sentences. So we want to work some of these together. Look at your box at the top of the page. Remember, so we don't have a new concept, just reviewing. A verb is a word that usually shows action. Non-action verbs are am, is, are, was, were. A noun is a word that describes a person, place, or thing. Some nouns are also subjects in sentences. Got that? An adjective is a word that describes a noun. Adjectives often answer the questions what kind, how many, which one, or whose. Got it? Lastly, an adverb is a word that describes a verb. It adds to the verb, correct. Adverbs often answer the questions how, when, or how often. Look at think A. Wow. 5 parts to what we're doing today. So I went ahead and kind of divided it here for you. So the first one, number 1, is draw a line dividing the subject and predicate parts of the sentence. Got that. Underline each verb twice. Got that. Underline each subject once. I do have a little line here under the subject. Draw a box around each noun. I have that. Including the subject. So for the subject, we may underline and draw a box around. Number 4, circle each adjective and draw a small arrow from the adjective to the noun it describes. So I have adjective circled with our little arrow. We know what that means. And then number 5, circle each adverb. So I have the word adverb with a circle around it. And draw a small arrow from the adverb to the verb. All right? So we're putting a lot of components together today. So grab your pencil and let's get going here. Number 1, the full moon shone brightly on the quiet lake. Wow, how our sentences have grown, okay? So number 1, the full moon shone brightly on the quiet lake. So, number 1, we're going to divide, okay? Now, if you can do this. You may want to underline your subject once, your verb twice. However you want to do it's fine. If it's easier for your eye to divide after you've underlined, that's fine with me. But just so that we're not confused on the steps, I'm going to go ahead and divide. All right? So I'm going to divide between moon and shone. Moon and shone. Then I'm going to underline my verb twice. What is my verb? Shone. Yep. It's just a form of the word shine. Underline my subject once. What is my subject? Moon. Right. Draw a box around each noun, including the subject. Okay. So we're also going to put a box around moon because it is a noun. We're also going to put a box around lake. Correct. Those are all my nouns. Then it says, circle each adjective and draw a small arrow from the adjective to the noun it describes. All right. So let's start with my noun, moon. Is full an adjective? Sure. What kind of moon? The. Yep. That is an adjective. All right? So that's the first noun. Now let's go find our other noun. Let's keep working with our adjectives, okay? So we have lake. We're going to go down to lake, and we're going to back up. Does quiet describe lake? Yes. So we're going to circle it and match to lake. The, yes. The quiet lake. A, and the are adjectives. Okay, so we've got our adjectives taken care of. Now let's go to our adverbs. Adverbs describe verbs. Our verb is shone. Does brightly describe shone? Look back. Adverbs tell how, when, or how often. How did the moon shine? It brightly. Yes. So we're going to circle brightly and match it back to shone. You could just say here, the moon shone on the lake. I mean, that's fine, but you can grow your sentence by adding all these other parts. Okay, lots of work here, right? All right, so let's go to number 2. Let's divide. Some children excitedly watch the comet through a large telescope. All right, so let's look. First job here is we are to divide. What is my subject? Children. What's my verb? Not excitedly, no. Children watched. So we're going to divide between here. That's what I was saying. If you wanted to go ahead and underline the verb twice and the subject once, then divide, that would be fine. So we've divided. We have our verb twice, our subject once. Now we need to go and box all the nouns. So children is a noun. Excitedly watched. The comet is a noun. Telescope is a noun. That's right. So your nouns are children, comet, and telescope. So now let's go back and pick out our adjectives. Okay, does some describe children? Yes. Tells you how many. Some. Comet. The describe comet? Yes, it does. Does large describe telescope? What kind? And then, of course, we'll pick up a, and the. So now we've got our adjectives out of the way. Now we need to pick up our adverbs. So my verb is watched. Does excitedly describe watched? Yes, it tells you how. And it ends in ly. And that's usually a good clue also. So we're going to circle excitedly and match it to watched. That's a lot, isn't it? Yeah. Okay. So let's go ahead to number 3. You can go ahead and start working on number 3. And I'm going to write it on the board, and I'll catch up with you in just a second. Number 3. All right, first step. This time I'll do my subject and my verb first and then divide. What's my subject? Star. What's my verb? is. Then you can divide if that one's easier for you to do it that way. So we've got our division, we've underlined our verb twice, our subject once. Now let's go back and box our nouns. Star is a noun. Is, Dwarf, nope. Star, yes, star is a noun. Okay, you kind of getting the hang of this now? Let's go back and circle our adjectives. So let's pick up our first one, star. That, does it describe star? Yes, it tells you which one. That star. My next noun is star. Does dwarf describe star? Yes, tells you what type, what kind. And then, of course, an, and the. And now we have our verb, which is. It's a helping verb. Non-action verb there. Do we have any adverbs? And that's okay. It's a non-action verb. So it'd be kind of hard to describe it, wouldn't it, if it didn't have an action with it. So we don't have one there. All right. Number 4, Nolan's uncle often studies the constellations. So you can go ahead and start your marking there while I'm writing. All right. So let's check this out. Let's do the underlining, then dividing, okay? Do another one like that. What's my subject? Uncle. What's my verb? Studies. Now you can kind of see where you need to divide, because you would divide right here between uncle and often, because often is going to be an adverb in just a few minutes, okay? So now let's keep going. Let's box our nouns. Uncle, it's a noun and the subject. Often, no. Studies, no. The, nope. Constellations, yes. Constellations is a noun. It's a thing, person, place, or thing. All right. Now let's circle our adjectives. I think that's where we are now. You have the first noun is uncle. Does Nolan describe uncle? Sure, it tells whose. So we circle it and we match it. Nolan's uncle. Our next noun is constellations. Does the describe constellations? Yes, it does. Finish with our adjectives, because those are nouns. Adverb, studies is our verb. Does often describe studies? Yes, it tells you how often. Often. So we circle it and match it to studies. Okay, so we used all of our words in that sentence. All right. Let's look at number 5. Now, Chris can see the Big Dipper clearly. Now, Chris can see the Big Dipper clearly. You go ahead and start. This will be the last one. All right, so let's go ahead and start marking. I'm going to try to move along quickly here. Okay, subject, Chris, verb phrase, can see. So then we divide between Chris and can see. Let's go through and box our nouns. Chris and Big Dipper. Those are our only nouns. Now let's go through and pick up our adjectives. Okay, we have Chris. Is now describing Chris? No. So let's move to Big Dipper. The describe Big Dipper? Yes. Now let's look at our adverbs. Now. Does now tell when Chris can see? Yes, it does. So we're going to circle now and match it to can see. Oh my, Miss Upchurch, but we didn't use it for the noun, but we're using it for the verb. Yes, because now describes can see when. Now he can see. We've got one word left down there, clearly. Now Chris can see. He can see what? How? Clearly. So you're going to circle clearly and match it back to can see. Oh boy, I'm seeing socks fly across the room. That just, buckle that seatbelt. Don't fall out of your seat. So, we'll do some more work on these, as we're going. In the interest of time, let's move on to Think B. You'll finish Think B, read each word, write an adjective to describe each noun, write an adverb to describe each verb. So you have nouns and verbs there. Write C, write an adjective and an adverb to complete the sentence. All right, so that's our language lesson for today. I'm sorry that was a little bit longer, but I really wanted to go through Think A with you so you could see that was a lot to do there. So I hope that wasn't too confusing. But anyway, hope you have a great Friday. Hope you have a great weekend. I love you. I miss you. I hope to see you soon. And make it a great day, okay, guys? Take care.